So I'm so excited. I am in Boulder, Colorado, getting ready to speak at my sorority today. I cannot believe it. I'm super excited. So stay tuned for more updates. And I'm here at the house. Okay, so I'm just arriving to my house, Alpha Chi Omega. I'm so excited. It's so fun to be at the house. So I can't wait. Stay tuned, there's gonna be more. Look at these beauties. Our old composite picture. Look at this girl all the way up here. Oh my gosh. This is so fun to be here. This is crazy.
We have a guest speaker, Teresa. Is a graduate from New Chapter in 2005. She came all the way out from LA, so speak to us. So please, 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 this is why I collected your phones, because she did a lot of traveling for this. So I need you guys to pay attention, give her your undivided attention. This is going to be a really great workshop. So yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Well, hi everyone! Oh, look, getting snaps! Yeah, this is snaps! Oh my god, I love it! This is so cool. I can't even tell you guys how cool it is to be in front of you guys. I was you guys 12 years ago already. I can't even believe it. Don't look at me. No, so I'm super excited to be here. So like she said, my name is Teresa Coultrin and I'm a life coach, and I just wanted to come and kind of give some time back to you guys and just kind of give you a little inspiration for the week. I know you guys have a long week ahead. I know rush is coming. I know you're getting ready to start the school year. There's lots of things coming. So I just wanted to kind of come in and connect with you guys. But before we get started, I thought we could start with a quick little breath practice. And so I really love doing this breath practice. I do it anytime I'm feeling stressed or freaking out, or if I have an interview or anything like that. It just brings you back to the present moment. It just kind of calms our minds, especially if you have any stress or anxiety. So, you know, we are always busy. Our minds are always running. So it's really always good to make time to connect with yourself and just calm yourself, especially if you have like a test coming up or an interview. Like anytime you can just like stop, pause, and sit and breathe and reconnect with yourself, everything just kind of flows for you. So this breath practice is called the 3-point breath practice, and I learned it from Dr. Levery, who is a master teacher at a yoga studio that I go to in in LA. And he says that breath is life, and he says when you can control your breath, you can control your mind, and when you can control your mind, you can control your life. So I love that, and so I think it's just really cool. So okay, so I'm gonna lead you guys through. We'll start really quick. So what we're gonna do is we'll inhale for 5 seconds, then we're gonna hold the breath for 5 seconds, and then we'll exhale for 5 seconds. And we'll do it 3 times, okay? Okay, are you guys ready? Yeah. Okay, cool. So just get comfortable, and you can close your eyes. Just do whatever is gonna feel good to you. Okay. All right. So inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold your breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And go ahead and exhale through your mouth for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's good, right? Okay, let's do it again. Okay, so inhale for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And go ahead and exhale. Good. I can feel the energy changing in the room. This is good. Okay, we'll do it one last time. Go ahead and inhale. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And go ahead and exhale. Awesome. How do you guys feel? Good, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So remember that if you're going into a job interview or you're about to take a big test, just pull over and just kind of sit and just do that really quickly. You saw it took 0 time, super easy to do, and you feel so much better, and you get clarity, and you feel better. So I do it a lot. I even did it this morning before I came here. So and I do it on the planes, and I'm going to get in trouble. So it's super awesome. So awesome. Well, so I wanted to thank you guys. I was thinking about this morning. I was like, how cool is it that the house, the legacy, is still going on? Like, I was here 12 years ago, and there was women before me, and I was just thinking, like, this is so cool. This is such a big thing you guys are a part of. You're helping us extend that. Extend that legacy for the Alpha Chi Omega here in Boulder. So I wanted to thank you guys for being here and putting your hearts into this and helping helping the chapter grow. It's so cool. Like, I feel so happy to be here. And you guys should know you're in such a strong sisterhood bond, and it may not feel like it now, or you might be new to the house, but as you go through time, you connect with the people you need to connect with while you're here. And then afterwards, it's like whoever you need to stay connected with, you do. And I'm really close to all the girls in my class as well. There's about 15 of us that are super connected. We'll take an annual trip every year and connect with each other. We go to each other's weddings. We even love to. Do you guys still do you still do the boom boom cheer? Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. So we love to embarrass each other at like each other's weddings. So we'll be at someone's wedding, and then like a group of us will get together and we'll just like, do a cheer. It's very silly. But it's so funny. It's like the best thing. So yeah, so you guys are really a part of something big that's been going on for years and years and years and years. So just as you're going through it, just kind of be present and try to enjoy it. And when things get too stressed, just take a step back and just, like I said, breathe. Just take a step back. Nothing has to be serious unless we make it serious, right? We're all here for fun. Like, you're in Boulder, Colorado, in an awesome sorority. Like, this is an awesome place to go to school. And it's so funny. Like, I miss being here. Like, I was thinking, I always feel like I've gone backwards. I went from having, like, breakfast made for me every morning here at a housemate. I was with all my friends, and, like, now I'm by myself. I barely get breakfast, So enjoy it while you can, because it's so nice. So, okay, well, awesome. So I wanted to thank you guys really quick for that. So basically what I was saying earlier, I am a life coach, and I specialize in helping people manage their inner critic. So do you guys know what an inner critic is? Okay. Who wants to say what they think an inner critic is?
Is it like your inner voice telling you like criticizing yourself, like your biggest
Yeah, what do you think?
Where doubts in yourself come from?
Doubts, okay. Yeah, so you said your inner voice, doubts in yourself, okay. What else?
Like telling yourself you can't do something.
Yep, exactly. And how many of you all have an inner critic? Me too. I have yeah, okay. So it's a real thing. And so, I know the inner critic is often responsible for lack of confidence. It makes us doubt ourselves. It makes us have self-judgment on ourselves and judgment on others. When mine is roaring high, like, I have trouble making decisions, I don't trust myself. And kind of when we're in that space, when we have that inner critic that's piping up on us all the time, being really extra hard on us, and we're making decisions from that place in life, it's not really authentic for us. And you might notice, like, for me, when I'm in that space, like, my life is so hard. Everything is like, oh my God, it's so hard, and everything goes wrong, and I just feel really, really crappy, and like, my head's just going, so it's just like, oh my gosh, this crazy voice inside. But the good news is you can manage that, right? The more you are aware of what your inner critic is telling you, you get to kind of have a choice in how you're going to react to it, and you get to learn how to manage it. And so that's one of the big things that I'm passionate about, is helping people kind of identify what that inner critic is, and how to just manage it so you can live life on your own terms and kind of honor yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and tell you a little bit about my story just for a little bit, and then after that, if we have time, I want to do like a quick little exercise for you guys. But so my inner critic, I have lots of layers of the inner critic. I even had my inner critic today, and the way here I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what if I mess up? They're gonna think I'm old. Like, my head was just like, it was like grinding, and it was like drinking Katy Perry fireworks. I was like, come on, get excited. So it's real, and we have it all day long, and it's just always gonna be there, right? So the thing is like, once we accept, okay, we're always gonna have this inner critic, but we can learn how to manage it, and we can learn to like honor ourselves and trust ourselves. So my inner critic used to be, like, I used to be a big people pleaser. I don't know if any of you are people pleasers, but I literally said yes to everything. I would do what all my friends and family wanted me to do, and I never would honor what I wanted to do. And it's because my inner critic told me that if I didn't, that I wouldn't be loved, I wouldn't be accepted, and I wouldn't have friends. So I just all the time. I just did what everyone else wanted me to do. So you can imagine living life from that space, it's not authentic. I wasn't living my life, I was living off of what everyone else wanted to do. So that used to be my inner critic. And so I just can tell you a quick little story about kind of my background and how I became, like how from when I left the house 12 years ago to all the way now, which is crazy. I'm living in LA, so this is so funny. So coming back here and standing in front of you guys, it's so cool to be able to kind of like see full circle my story. So I had the perfect life on paper. You know, I went to college here in Boulder. I was in an awesome sorority. You know, met the man of my dreams, got a cool job after college, and just kind of was like floating through life, doing all the things that everyone tells you should do, right? And so when I was 25, my dad died. So me, my mom, and my brother held my dad's hands. It took his last breath, and he died. So it was, as you can imagine, a very, very heavy experience. And I kind of like to say the year that my dad died is the year that I woke up. It was like all of a sudden, like I just became conscious and everything looked different. It was like I was taking my sunglasses off or something for the first time, and I was like looking at my life, and I was like, what is this? Like, I don't even recognize this life. It doesn't even feel right. It doesn't even feel good for me. So during that time, it was a really big and awakening time for myself at the age of 25. So everything that was like perfect and whatever, like that seemed to fulfill me, it no longer fulfilled me. Everyone told you, or told me like, oh, if I have these things, I'm going to be happy. Oh, if I have this husband and this job and all this stuff, I'm going to be so happy. So I had all these things, but I was not happy. So I lost my dad. He was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and he lived for about 8 months. The diagnosis is pretty heavy. So throughout the year, you know, we're kind of, you know, tending to him and just through surgeries and all the stuff that goes on with the cancer stuff. It was really, really rough. And I was just kind of focused that year, like, you know, trying to spend time with my dad and figure it out. On top of that, the boyfriend I had at the time was really sweet, had good intentions. He decided to ask for permission from my dad to marry me, which was really nice and really good intentions. But at the same time, it was like this heavy thing, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was like, wait a minute, like my dad's dying, and then I'm supposed to be getting married, I'm supposed to be happy. Like, it was like I couldn't do the two emotions together. But I wasn't strong enough. Like, I didn't have that confidence to trust my inner voice. Like, my higher self, my inner voice was like, you're not ready. Like, just tell people you're not ready and just, you know, do what you need to do. Stay focused with your dad. My inner critic was like, oh my gosh, how selfish. Like, your family wants you to do this. They're going to be so happy, and you're going to make your dad happy, and your husband will be happy, and like, you should really do this. You're being selfish if you don't do this, and you're never going to meet a guy if you don't marry this guy. Like, you know, it was going crazy, and I just wasn't strong enough. And everything in my body was telling me no, but I ignored it. So sure enough, before I knew it, we were planning a wedding. My father was getting significantly worse. We were planning a wedding. So we planned the wedding. My dad died a month before the wedding, so he never made it. So we continued, and then right after my dad died, I got laid off from my job that I was working at a week later, and then we got married. So talk about a really interesting wedding where everyone was like happy and it was beautiful and I feel so grateful, but on the inside I was just dying. I wasn't myself, and it wasn't what I wanted, and I ended up doing that because I never honored myself all the way to get to that point. So so the reason why I like to share this story is it's because, you know, to honor yourself is a big thing. It takes a lot of courage to do it. And so at that time I wasn't strong enough. So we get married. Fast forward a few months later, I'm kind of having a hard time. Like, I'm kind of trying to digest that I got laid off from my job. I'm digesting that my father died. I'm digesting that I got married. And then we were trying to move in my house. Like, there was just all these big life things going on. I was only 25, so that's like a lot to kind of like take on all at once. So I was trying to process. And as I was doing it, I was reevaluating everything in my life. I was reevaluating my relationships. I was reevaluating my career. Just anything in my life. It was foreign to me. I didn't want it anymore, and I wanted to like discover like who I was and what I wanted. And one of the hardest things was discovering, you know, that the relationship I had with my husband was not authentic and it wasn't for me. But it took me 3 years to decide to trust myself. So for 3 years, I fought the inner critic. The inner critic was telling me I won't survive on my own. I need a husband to take care of me. I'm never gonna find anyone better. Like, you have the perfect life. Like, why are you trying to mess it up? Like, there were so many things going on, and my inner critic was telling me. And I had lack of confidence, but I knew inside, again, that voice was so strong. It was like, you're not happy. You need to move on. So with a lot of therapy, a lot of counseling, a lot of self-help books, a lot of Katy Perry songs, no, just kidding. But I kind of just like, I wanted to learn. I wanted to understand myself. I wanted to understand like why I wasn't happy in this life that everyone told me I would be so happy with, right? So I got closer and closer to myself. and I got to build up the confidence, and then finally I made the decision to leave my marriage, which was a really, really hard, big decision. But I have to tell you, ladies, the moment I chose to honor myself, my life has been in flow, and I've never been so happy, and my life makes no sense at all. On paper, it looks messy and weird. I've moved around, like I'm single, like I'm almost 35, you know, like it doesn't make sense, but I'm so freaking happy. Like I'm so in line with my purpose. Because I found who I was, I got in line with my purpose. And so it's been amazing. And so like I've been so inspired that I want to share the story with everyone, just to inspire everyone. I mean, take what you need to take from it, but you know, honoring ourselves is, you know, it's a big thing. So if you I'm going to go into some tips on how to manage inner critic, but just if you guys leave with anything today, I want you to know that you know, we are all perfect on our own unique level, right? The only thing that makes us not perfect is the limiting beliefs that we put on ourselves and others, right? Like we all are perfect. We all have a unique gift. We all have a purpose of why we're here. And so when you can get in line and connect with yourself and choose, have the courage to honor yourself and do what feels right to you, you're gonna get in line with that purpose, and you're gonna have your gifts, and life is gonna flow. So, you know, anytime life is feeling like heavy and it's hard and you're unhappy, step back and think about how you might not be honoring yourself and doing what's true for you, even if it doesn't make sense. Like that was the thing, like my logical mind all the time is like, that doesn't make sense. But then my intuition's like, no, you should do it. And so I'm still working on it. I'm still working on honoring that inner voice, right? Because there is that battle between, you know, both sides of you know, the coin. So, and a lot of times we tune it out, or we don't trust it, we don't believe it because it's not in line with what our external environments are. And what I meant to mention earlier, to me, what an inner critic is, to me, it's a form of our ego, and it's influenced by our external environments, right? It's influenced by how we were raised. It's influenced by who we spend our time with, what we read, what we watch, what we listen to. We have all these, like social media, we have all this external stuff, right? That's coming to us all the time, like data overload on our phones all the time. Our brains are just getting all this external influence. So it really actually detaches us from our core self, right? Like we have an inner self that we know what's right, but we get influenced by the external sources. So it's like that battle between, you know, who to trust. Do you trust external forces, even though your inner voice is saying, no, go this way, and everyone's saying, going that way? You know, so it's becoming aware of that process. So becoming aware of those voices in your head and deciding what you want to do. And so the second one, I thought you guys can partner up, or you don't have to, but the second part of this is to really start managing your inner critic. You have to learn to face it head on, right? You have to face it. Like you have to just get it out on paper, like get out a piece of paper if you want to, like write it down, but you got to face what it is that your inner critic is telling you, right? Because it's always with you, and it's probably always been with you for a lot of years, and it's probably a lot of different things. But once you can identify what it is your inner critic is telling you, that's the first step to learning how to manage it, right? And then the second part is to ask yourself if it's true. So if you guys want to, you can partner up and you guys could share just with each other if you feel comfortable doing that. I don't know. Does that sound good? Yeah? Okay. So just a couple of minutes, partner up and just maybe share what you guys think your inner critic is to each other, and then ask yourself if it's true. Okay, awesome. So how does that feel to everybody? Awkward. Yeah, it's awkward. It's uncomfortable to face yourself, right? It takes courage to sit there and face like the darkest thing about yourself, right? Like you don't want anyone to know what you think about yourself. Like it takes courage to do that. What else? Any other comments? Yeah.
I think it's interesting to see like when other people talk about their insecurities as well, because like they might seem like a super confident person and like seem so beautiful and everything, but then they like talk and then you can understand and connect with them.
Yes, absolutely. You allow yourself to be in a vulnerable space, right? And say, hey, this is actually what I struggle with. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I thought it felt really good to tell like my partner what I was insecure about, or like at the moment, or like in general, because I feel like it's like getting something off your chest, like especially with like sisters, like we can all trust each other, like in a way that like you can't really tell other people. So it felt good to tell.
That's wonderful. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it makes for a cool opportunity if like we know what our sisters are insecure about. That creates an opportunity for us to like affirm each other and encourage each other in those like specific ways. That if you didn't know those things, like you don't know what actually means something that you said to your sister.
Absolutely. I love that. When you can all understand where you're all coming from and come from a place of love, right? And support, that builds a really strong bond with everyone. Yep.
And I feel like the more you talk about it like aloud to someone, you're less likely to internalize it because it's already out there. Like when I have like an irrational fear and I tell someone, they're usually like, yeah, that's pretty rational. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll let it go then. But if I don't, then I just sit there and like pour over it over and over again, and it's like awful.
Yeah, exactly. It's like naming the beast, right? It's like let's just get out with it. Like let's get out the big deep dark secret and let's just get it out of us and get it there. Because once you're aware of it, then you kind of know like, oh, it's just the inner critic, and then you can decide when you wanted to boss you around or when you're going to be like, no, I don't need to listen to you. I've got my higher self. So so for all of you, oh, go ahead. You've got your hand up.
I was just saying, like, I think that it's like says something about our sisterhood that we can share that and that we're safe in this place, I guess, and trusting our sisterhood.
Absolutely. Yes, this is a safe bond. This is a safe space to share. And I know that I can call up any of my girlfriends from my class, a new chapter. Even if I haven't talked to them for months, I can call them up and be like, hey, I'm having a really bad day. Like, just, you talk to me, cheer me up. And it's a real thing. Like, so I'm saying these bonds last a lifetime, and what you're building through even though these like rush days are like, oh my God, it's hot, I'm tired, I'm annoyed, and I want to sing that cheer one more time. Like, I don't want to line up one more time. Like, you're like, you get over it at a certain point, right? But just know that all of this is like pulling you guys together. It's building a bond together. And like you said, when you all can share what you're struggling with, you become stronger and you become more confident. And that's important. Like when you guys are doing Rush next week, as you guys are growing together, you present yourself to these girls that you want to invite into the house. You'll be confident to speak to them because you're like, yeah, this is my sisterhood. We're connected. We love and support each other. And that's a huge thing. Like if I was joining a house, I'd be like, wow, that's really cool. Like I want to join a house where everyone supports each other and is connected. Like that's amazing. So that's so wonderful that you guys are thinking about it in that way. I love that you guys are sharing that way. How many of you noticed what your inner critic was telling you? Is it something that's true? Like do you have factual evidence that it's true? No, right? Isn't that the crazy thing? Like our brains, like we are designed to be creators, right? Like I believe we're here to like create with our minds. And we're very imaginative, so sometimes our imaginations can just run wild. And if they're in a negative space, they'll run to the dark side in a really crazy bad way. And so that's why just asking yourself simply, is this true? And if it's not, like you're like, oh, that's silly. Like I just made that up. It's just like part of some sort of imagination game I'm playing. So that's kind of a cool tool that you guys can use to do that. And then finally, the last one I like to just do to kind of when I'm helping people like become aware of the inner critic is to just start taking note when the inner critic shows up. What's happening? Like, are you getting ready for a test? Are you getting ready for an interview or a date? Are you getting ready to go through Rush and talk to a girl? Or you're like gonna have to talk in front of people? When does that inner critic show up? And as soon as you can start pinpointing when it's showing up, then you can kind of get closer to the root cause of it and kind of, prep yourself and be like, okay, my inner critic's gonna make me think this, but I know it's not true. Like, I just kind of have to give myself some space and time to get over it. Does that make sense? So when, can you guys think of when your inner critic comes up for you? Like, when's the time that it comes up that you notice? Yeah, in the back.
I feel like in social settings, maybe more and stuff.
Okay, social settings, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
If I have to make a big decision.
Okay,
Worry about making the wrong
absolutely. Yeah, decision making. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have a hard time making decisions, and that's a big place where my inner critic gets me like hard. So yes.
I always struggle when I have to like put myself out there and do something that I've never really done.
Right. Yeah, you're vulnerable. You might fail, right? Oh my God, what if I fail? I'm doing this new thing. Okay. Yeah.
Mine do when my hormones like get out of whack.
Yeah.
But it's like, and there's like nothing that really is stimulating it, so then your like inner like critic is like,
Yeah.
you're doing something wrong, but then you're like, there's nothing wrong
Right.
happening.
Yes.
Or there's something I should be stressed about, but you're just like,
Yeah, you're like, no, I just feel this way. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would say mine comes up when I'm not like confident that I'm correct.
Yeah. Again, you just want to be perceived right. Yeah. These are all real things. Yeah.
Presenting myself as a leader. Sometimes I'm worried that I'm not nice enough or that I'm not saying the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
In my downtime, like when I'm just by myself on a day off.
Yeah, okay, so you kind of just are like, okay, like all of a sudden it's quiet and so it starts running, right? A lot of times that happens, right? You kind of go on for the day and then all of a sudden it just like runs wild, right? So just the fact that you guys are aware that this exists, now you have a choice to do something about it. Now you have a choice to kind of sit back and, trust that higher self that, I don't have to be my inner critic and the inner critic is mostly made up. So I want to ask a question really quick, and you guys, don't have to answer or not answer, but I was thinking this might be good since you guys are getting ready for Rush next week. Do you guys have any inner critics that are coming up about Rush? Like what's coming up for you guys? Anything that you guys feel like you want to share?
I guess with me, it's like that I'm scared that I'm like not good enough in like the talking aspect. Like I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to actually recruit. And like I know that I should be able to. Like I know that I like talk to people like every day. And it's normal, but like I just feel like every time I like try, I'm like terrified.
Yeah. It can be kind of scary, right? Because there's a lot of pressure. You want to get the right person in the house, and you're talking to them for the first time, and what if there's nothing to talk about? Like, it's like, oh, what do I talk to about this person? You know, there's always that pressure. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. That's being vulnerable. And you know, the thing is, it's just like we said, like your inner critic is kind of telling you that, but you said you know your higher self is fine, and you'll be fine. And so just kind of know, like, just kind of take note of that, you know, and just kind of practice maybe. Yeah.
We talked earlier today about how like appearance is one of the big first impressions that like you give off. So I'm like kind of worried, like what if a P&M sees me and is like, ooh, I don't want to be in this house because she looks that certain way or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the comparison thing, that's a big thing. Gosh, I struggle with that a lot. Like in my industry, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, that coach is cooler. They have a cooler video than I do. Like I should just give the whole thing up. Like, you know, there's that comparison theory, right? Like, and with all the sororities too. Like, I think I remember doing that when I was with you guys. Like, oh my gosh, I'm like, their shoes are cuter, or like they have a cooler song, and they serve better food. Like, you know, we get so attached. We get so attached to what others are doing, and that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be turning inwards and focusing on our strengths and our gifts. Like I said, we're all unique and different. We have like what this house is so unique, and it's different things than DJ has, right? You're different. You guys have different strengths and gifts, and you should own that and like go with that. Yeah.
I think I'm nervous about that. Like P&Ms will come in with like ideas of what our sorority is, and like, they won't think it's great, but but obviously like all of us think it's incredible, and like they'll come in knowing like, oh, it's not great, but like it is, and we want to show you that, but like they won't let us.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah. So what could you do different? Like what could you do to just like prove somebody wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our question. It's putting you on the spot. Okay, go to the back.
I think instead of like focusing so much on their energy and like their thought process, like knowing your own self-worth and just like trying to emulate that as much as possible. And if it doesn't work, like you can't force it, but at least you try.
Yeah, exactly. That's really good. And just being yourself, right? What about just being yourself and talking about what you love about this house and like your bonds that you're building with these people? And just imagine like you were those girls like last year whenever you joined the house. Like you were on the other side. So what did it feel like? What did you like to hear about? You know, everyone's, you know, we get in our heads about how everything should be and what it should look like and all these things. But like if we can kind of step back from that and just tune into what you guys love about the house, what's true for you, and what you like about, then that should be easy. You should have a few things to just say, hey, I love this about the house, like this is what I like, and not care, and not be attached to what the other person thinks. Just because, and if they don't join, then it's probably not the right match anyway, right? Like you want somebody authentic. Like you want to keep this house authentic, the bond's authentic. So you show up how you are, and you share what you want to share, and if they like it, then great, they're a match, and you guys are supposed to be together. You know? Any other comments?
Like occasionally when I talk to new people, I'm always afraid I'll come off as kind of like weird or socially awkward. So like something that's nice for some struggle with.
Yeah.
Same.
I
have a major fear of coming off as ditzy because I've often been described as a dumb blonde when you meet me for the first time. That's like a big issue for me.
Okay. And who do you think you really are? Do you think that you're ditzy?
No, I'm an aerospace engineer.
Amazing. So that's who you are, and that's who you want to be, and that's who's talking. So even if that person thinks that, you know who you are, right? That's the important thing, and they'll see that when they're talking to you. They're like, oh, whoa, this girl's in aerospace. What? That's amazing. Any other thoughts, you guys? Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just afraid that I'm not like the best representation of Alpha Chi, because like all these ladies here are super amazing and so great, that I'm like not like the best person to talk to, you know? So.
So what makes you think that? So is that your inner critic then?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and is that true? It's not true. Don't play the game. Don't play the game with inner critic. It's just trying to take over. So this is good, right? You know, you're starting to recognize when that negative voice is coming in and when to trust it or not. Like we all know, we have that intuition. So just practice on like tuning into your body. Like that's why I like the breath work. Like that's something else I do with clients and myself. I have a video on YouTube. Like the breath practice is so key because it really brings us back to our self-center. It really brings us back to being connected. Because like I said, we go outward so much, we just connect. So we get lost. So when you're needing to kind of get grounded and centered, just come back, take a couple breaths. Meditation is great for that as well, getting yourself to know. But we're all in it together, right? We all have an inner critic. It's always going to exist. It's just you have, now that you're aware of it and have some tools, now you get to decide how you want it to play in your life. And you get to decide, who's in charge, your higher self or an inner critic. And trust me, it's a battle. Like, I go through it weekly. I struggle with it all the time. Like, I have to make videos. Even, like I said, coming here today was scary. Like, oh my gosh, like, what if they don't like me? The whole thing. We all have it, but just to know that we all have it together and can support each other and just offer each other love and support. At the end of the day, that's all it really is, right? Okay. Awesome. Yay, well, that's really all I had to share with you guys. Do you guys have any questions about anything? Yeah.
Is there a way that we could connect with you on Facebook or Instagram?
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Yes. So I've got some cards, and I actually brought some bracelets for you guys too. These bracelets. So I named my company it's called Let Go Live. And it's means to me, let go of your inner critic and just live and be who you want to be. So I had these little bracelets made that say let go live on them. So you guys are welcome to them. And I've got my cards here. My website is letgolivecoaching.com. I'm on Instagram, which is Let Go Live. I think maybe it's coaching Let Go Live. I have a YouTube channel. You guys can email me. I would love to connect. I always do a free session with everybody. So if you just want to call and vent and want to have a session, call me. We'll do it. And I was telling Katie that I'm going to be here. So I was telling Katie I'm going to be around, and so if you guys are feeling like you want to talk to somebody this week, I'd love to come back and just hang out and just talk with you guys. If you want to vent about anything, or you can call me. So I'm here. So I just thank you again for letting me be a part of this. I'm so happy and so grateful to be here with you guys. You guys are awesome. Good luck next week. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, just honor. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks, Katie. Everyone is lining up to do a group picture. I'm so excited. Yay! Say hi, everyone. Yay! Thank you.